From Chris Sutton about the Old Firm, because tomorrow, right there at Ibrox, it is a huge game. Rangers against Celtic. And last season, Celtic won the title by 9 points. But everyone seems to be anticipating a much tighter title race this year, Chris. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think so. I think that Rangers have strength in depth this season, which they didn't have last season. I'm really looking forward to this game. I mean, Celtic are going into it with a depleted backline, which I think will have a big effect on the game. But Rangers, when it came to the crunch last season, they choked. Will they choke again? And I think that, the Rangers fans are expecting their team to win. But, if Celtic do win, there's going to be a lot of questions asked about this Rangers team.
Stevie G says no fear now against Celtic.
Well, yeah, he says that. But he has to say that, doesn't he?
You're making excuses already for Celtic. No backline, this and that.
Well, hang on a minute. So they went into Europe without... Hang on a minute. They went into Europe without a recognised right-back and a recognised centre-back. So is that ideal, Rob? I'm just asking you, is that ideal?
No, it's not ideal.
No, well, of course. So that's not an excuse. It's a fact. Ideal in facts, Rob.
Chris, moving on to terms in Europe. First of all, by the time it gets to the game tomorrow, it'll be the 13th game that both Rangers and Celtic have played this season. They're desperate for this international break, aren't they?
They are. I have to say, really impressed with, both teams, the way they came through the ties. Rangers clean sheet important against Legia Warsaw and Celtic. A lot of pressure on them after. I mean, it was a debacle against Cluj, and they've drawn them in the Europa.
They want revenge now, won't they?
Well, they most certainly will, and I think Lazio isn't a bad draw. I think Rennes are the team who, a bit of a dark horse. They've had a good start to the season, beat PSG already, so it's going to be tough for Celtic. But it's an open group and one they can come through.
So tomorrow, in the Old Firm, which dressing room, put aside you play for Celtic, which dressing room would you rather be sitting in terms of looking around that dressing room, thinking, I want to be in this team today?
If I look at the Celtic defence, I think that there are issues with that, and that's where I think the game,
So would you rather be in Rangers' dressing room tomorrow?
Look, would I ever rather be in Rangers' dressing room, Rob? Come on, you're better than that.
Yeah.
It's really a bit because normally you go into these games and in recent years you think that Celtic have been the dominant team. And people, you touched on last year where Rangers won the last Celtic-Rangers game 1-0. It's a dead rubber. Who cares?
Rangers fans do, and Steven
Gerrard. Well, do they? What, when the league's already over?
Of course they care.
It's a cheap win. Well,
nobody.
I'm just telling you, nobody really cares about that. There's nothing on the game. Well, they do, but they're clutching. The bottom line is this Celtic can really hurt Rangers on the counter-attack, the likes of Forrest and Mikey Johnson, who's going to be a big player for Celtic this season. They've signed El Yunusi, which I think is a reasonable piece of business. But I still think the big thing for Neil Lennon is that the board have to back him and strengthen in the last couple of days. They don't have the strength in depth. Centre-forward, they've got one, really recognised centre-forward. Rangers have two in Defoe and Morelos. So, that tells you everything. But, it's going to be a good watch.
OK, let's move.